Hey, um, today is the 20th anniversary of 9/11, where some idiots decided to fly a couple planes into skyscrapers in New York. Um, I, I remember that day, of course. At the time, I was a telephony contractor installing residential telephone lines, getting dial tone to people's houses. And in my work van was told by our dispatch to everybody go home uh, because of what was happening in New York. And I was driving through downtown Dallas in somewhat heavy traffic. And Dallas has always had some traffic, but being scared witless, looking up in the sky as I'm driving through skyscrapers, wondering if other planes are going to be used as missiles to take down other buildings. And I remember the horror and disgust from all that, and the days following. It was our generation's Pearl Harbor. Unfortunately, it led up to a couple decades worth of war. The powers that be saw it fit to use that as an excuse to sacrifice many good men and women, thrown into the meat grinder of war after that, under the lie of weapons of mass destruction. Thank you, Bush. So yeah, it's a real cheery day today. Especially in fact that we have the President Biden issuing a federal level COOF mandate to 100 million or so citizens that they must get the jab. Now is the time for civil disobedience, and there is some pushback. And you see, this is the part where the authoritarians and the establishment are going to throw everything they can up against the wall to see what sticks. They've whittled the American psyche down to a nub far enough to where they're saying the soft part's loud, and they're going to try to get away with as much as they can. Then there's little nuggets of hope. Comedian Jim Brewer, if you're familiar with him, really funny guy, been around for years, a real funny guy. He put this out on Facebook. And yes, I did archive it because it's probably not going to be up for very long. I'm just going to play a little bit of it.
Howdy. Let me get some music going here. Hold on. Wait for a couple you bananas to jump on. Hope everyone's doing well.
I haven't tested this. I hope you can hear the video. Let's speed it up a little bit here. Yeah, I'll let it roll. I'm not going to play the entire 22 minutes of it, just the good bits here. I mean, it's all good, but I'm not going to bore you with the entire video.
Wait for a couple of you guys to come on. Let's see if we get some tunes going. It's so peaceful. It's nice and warm where I'm at. It feels really good where I'm at. All right, hold on. I'm getting there.
Hang with it.
Oh, boy. All right, so check it out. I hope everyone's having a good, positive day. So I have two quick updates. on shows that you may think you may be getting tickets to, or you already have tickets to. The Wilmot Theater, New Jersey. Not doing it. Also, that's going to be December 3rd. Also, the Royal Oak Theater in Michigan. Due to the segregation of them forcing people to show up with vaccination to prove you're vaccinated, to prove that you've had a shot, I am absolutely not doing those shows. I know I'm going to sacrifice a lot of money, but I'm not going to be enslaved by the system or by money, and nor should anyone that wants to laugh or be entertained. No matter what your feelings are in it, I don't care if you're vaccinated. I don't care, That's great. It's a choice.
Yep.
And if you have anything else to say, I honestly don't care. So don't leave comments and going, oh, this is a good thing. I highly disagree with you. And I will always disagree with you. So I have to stick to my morals. I have to stick to what I know is right as a human to another human. When you have to be forced, bribed, dictated, which is basically what's going on. And I know, I'm not going to lie to you, I filmed my special in one of my all-time favorite places, which is the Paramount in Long Island, Huntington. And they, right after I performed there, and that special, the details are coming out for all of you. Thank God I filmed it 2 nights. Many different tiers for that. You can watch the unedited versions, or just download for a night, keep it, whatever. We'll get into that as we go down the road. What I'm getting at is, they're the greatest people. They're such good people that run that venue. And then all these fans started hitting me going, you know what the Paramount just did? And I'm telling you, it's a Live Nation. Live Nation and AIG are holding hostage to all performers. And there's a lot of big bands out there, there's a lot of big comedians out there, and they're holding hostage and enforcing and basically telling these venues that they need to do it. Some of them it's the governors, some of them it's personal choice. And by the way, hey, they gotta do what they gotta do, what they feel they have to do, but I'm telling you, the Royal Oak Theater, I love that theater, not doing it. Wilmot, New Jersey, not doing it. Morristown, my home. The fact that now you segregate people, you segregate. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You're segregating.
This is smart.
And that's what it is. I will tell you right now, everyone watching, everyone listening, you've been the greatest people in my life. You're uplifting. You see me in the streets. You say hello. I say hello to you. We all have real lives. Cancer, death, sickness, elderly, trying to be a parent, trying to be a person, trying to be a friend. We all have this. The last thing we need is segregation. And if you try to segregate my audience or my following or any following, I'm walking away. And I will play backyards. I will play venues that is not run by a monopoly that is shutting down and forcing these venues to do it. I'd rather go bankrupt and make a stance and not segregate. And I know people, we're gonna lift each other up. Life is good, God is good, Spirit is good. But these people living in fear. And I hear the comments by some big name celebrities. And always remember this, You may be a big celebrity. You may be a huge name in the entertainment world. You may be one of the biggest sports stars in the world, but you know what? That doesn't mean you're moral, doesn't mean you're smart, doesn't mean you're a good person. All that means is that you are a slave to this. You're a slave to vanity. You're a slave to the dictatorship to keep you on top of that mountain.
Okay. I'm going to link this, of course, and so you can watch the entire thing. It's really good. It's really good. Watch the entire thing. He's taking a stand. He is he's standing up. There's starting to be some legitimate pushback, and it may boil down to what Michael Malice calls a national divorce, red states and blue states separating. Hate to see it happen, but it might have to come to that. I have given up trying to talk sense to idiots, to authoritarians, to little Mussolinis that think that the collective good is more important than the individual rights. I'm done. Just like Jim Brewer's done. Just like thousands of us, hundreds of thousands of us are done with collectivists. So, what gives me hope is a nationwide, coast-to-coast, 30% increase in homeschooling. Get your kids out of these government schools. We're slowly starting to see people coming around. And I knew it would take something egregious, even more egregious than what they have done to start waking people up. And we're not there, and it's going to be a long time before it starts getting better. But we will get there eventually, with or without them. You know, bottom line. I recently discovered a author. I'm going to mispronounce his name, I'm probably sure. Vaclav Havel. I was made privy to, one second. He, back in '78, this guy is from, I want to say, Czechoslovakia, when the Iron Curtain was still up. He wrote I wouldn't call it a book. It was a short story, a novella maybe, called The Power of the Powerless. Talking about the resistance movement in Czechoslovakia back in the late 70s. And let's see if I can do this. There we go. He writes, if the basic job of the dissident movements is to serve truth, that is to serve the real aims of life, and if that necessarily develops into a defense of individuals and their right to a free and truthful life, that is a defense of human rights and a struggle to see the laws respected, then another stage of this approach, perhaps the most mature stage so far, is what Vaclav Benda, another activist back then, called the development of parallel structures. I've heard some other liberty-minded pundits recently talk about parallel economies, parallel social media, parallel or alternative media. This is the same thing, and this guy was talking about this back in '78. Maybe we need to take a page out of the book of guys that went through living under the iron heel boot of the Soviet Union and take a few pages out of their playbook. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I will link this also. It's a fascinating reading if you're interested in it. I'll continue. When those who have decided to live within the truth, have been denied any direct influence on the existing social structures, not to mention the opportunity to participate in them. And when these people begin to create what I've called the independent life of society, this independent life begins of itself to become structured in a certain way. Sometimes they're only very embryonic indications of this process of structuring. Excuse me. At other times, the structures are already quite well developed. Their genesis and their evolution are inseparable from the phenomenon of dissident, even though they reach far beyond the arbitrarily defined area of activity usually indicated by that term. We need civil disobedience. We need nonviolent civil disobedience. This shall not stand. It might be time for a national divorce. Don't know. Bottom line, I'm done talking to idiots. I'm done trying to convert the willfully ignorant. It's a waste of time. So there.